That's right. Let's go. How is everybody out there? Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Tea. Guys, I can't explain to you, and I don't even know if I can fathom my level of excitement right now for this conversation that we're getting ready to have today. I have an array of just wonderful people that are going to have this conversation with me about the life of a podcaster. So, I know many of you have asked several times over what kind of stuff it takes to do a podcast. How do you come up with ideas and thoughts and all those types of things? And we're going to get into a lot of that today. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background for podcasting, it is still a big growing market. There are tons of podcasts everywhere, lots of different types of topics. There are over 150 languages that have podcasts, 70 million episodes across the world, and 62% of Americans, y'all know how I feel about statistics when it comes to these things. It all depends on who you ask. 62% of people have listened to some level or some type of podcast. So that tells you that podcasting is a new thing, and it's a pretty interesting thing. So we're going to get into a little bit of what we do, how we do it, and we'll see what other types of shenanigans transpire from this conversation. So please go ahead, share it with your friends, tell somebody, let somebody know that we are live here on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. And I think we're connected to another podcast, but I'll find that out in just a moment when I bring in our guest for this evening. So I was going to bring them in one at a time, but let's just go ahead and bring the whole crew inside. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Good evening.
Good.
Good evening.
So it's almost like a whole serious high school reunion because a group of us have all gone to high school together. And then, as you know, guys, Brian Harris has been on my show at least 3 times. And Brian is family to me, so he can come on whenever he wants. No necessary invitation required. So this is all family right here. And thank you guys so much. I'll probably say it at the end of the show again, but thank you guys so much for gracing my show with your presence and your wisdom tonight. I'm super excited about this conversation.
Oh, it's definitely our pleasure, man.
Definitely our pleasure.
So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. When you do introduce yourselves, say the name of the podcast or podcasts, plural, that you are a part of. And if you know kind of a rough estimate of how long you've been podcasting, whether you've been on your own original show or if you've joined other shows in the past, just kind of to give us a breath of your experience. So I'm going to start by letting Anthony go since he's right below me on my screen. So Mr. Johnston, go ahead.
Perfect. What's going on, everyone? My name is Anthony. Anthony Johnston, known as Mr. Johnston on the podcast, the Husband's Lounge podcast. I'm one of the 2 hosts that's a part of that. We've been going strong since January, and yeah, it's been an interesting adventure that I'm ready to really explore and really get my feet wet in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I meant to say this too. Can you tell us what type of what type of information do you cover? What do you guys talk about?
All right. So yeah, with the Husband's Lounge podcast is pretty much what it is. It's a podcast where we speak on real topics when it comes to being a husband, and getting different dynamics of that language of being a husband. A lot of times guys, men in general, and not just being a husband, but men in general, don't know where they can express their feelings or how to express how they feel with regards to anything that we go through. And we made that platform. I actually created the platform on Facebook first, as a group, and then it led to the podcast, whereas though we saw guys reaching out and really expressing themselves, and men really trying to understand if I'm the only one going through this problem or going through this situation with my wife. And it just I found out by doing the research that there's no other podcast for husbands or that has that information with regards to being a husband or the challenges and the celebrations of being a husband.
Okay. All right. And we'll go ahead and let the other half of the Husband's Lounge go ahead next.
What it do, everybody? It's your boy, Professor Charles, in the building. Listen, Anthony said it correctly. So I am one half of the Husband's Lounge podcast. I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. One, because I am a new husband. I just celebrated my first year anniversary with my wife. Thank you. I'm still alive, so I did something right. Amen. So yeah, like he was saying, it's definitely geared towards being the positive influence, the positive reinforcement of being a husband, and to also, like Anthony said, to find a community that is going through the same thing that you're going through. Just based off of the Husband's Lounge Facebook page, thousands of men are going through the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Anthony came to me with the idea, I was like, we have to do this. Like, we have to do this. There's a space for it. So my other podcast is my other baby, along with my wonderful co-host, Brittany Beverly.
Shout out to Brittany.
Shout out to Brittany. Shout out to Professor Britt. It is the Dating University. Okay. Never get it confused with anything else. And Dating University, and we have been doing that show going on 7 years now. Probably
wow.
a little bit longer. We've gone through different iterations of how we started. It was just dating 2016 because dating in 2016 was trash. And then we kept going. And then it was like, okay, well, it's 2017. Like, okay, it's dating 2017. And then it was getting close to 2018. I was like, well, we can't keep changing the name, dog. Like, it's not going to work. So we sat down, we got in the lab, and we really worked hard, and we drilled down. And I was just like, man, we're all just trying to learn how to do this thing. And I was like, learning. You're in school. I don't want to be in high school because we're grown. College, okay. Universities, you go to university. Dating University was born.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for that. I didn't know it was that long. Okay.
Oh yeah, we've been in the trenches. Look, you go back and look at them old videos. Good.
Oh, that's such a humbling experience.
Yeah,
bro,
I had to go back and do that.
Videos, man.
We was on the bleeding edge, my guy. Like, we didn't know nothing about this. Like, we were just like, okay.
Listen, the videos are only bad because of the quality of phone you had. You had an Android, but I'll go. Come on.
Get the boy right.
That's a level of disrespect because
completely.
Nah, my Android S23 is the joint. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And it's the Ultra.
We'll have to table that because that'll be a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
We'll do Brian with the Y. We'll do you next. So go ahead, Mr. Harris.
Hello everybody. I'm back again. Brian be knowing. So my current podcast I'm doing with a friend called the Fake Mad Podcast. I'm part of the Fake Mad Mafia. I've been doing podcasting since 2007. I got into it when I was in college. So yeah, we weren't calling it podcasting then. We didn't realize what we were doing. We were calling it a radio show. So we kind of structured it like radio show format. But all in all, we were doing a podcast. And had I known then what I knew now, I'd be living a completely different life.
Monetized.
Yeah. So I had to. Chris asked me for a list earlier. I had to run them down. I forgot one. So 07 to 09, I had a show called The Barbershop. 09 to 2012, I had a show called Smoke Break Live. Then we stopped that. So then I came back 2020 when the pandemic started, revamped Smoke Break. And then later in 2020 to 2023, I had a show called The Nympathy Show. Stands for No Empathy. That was an all guys podcast that we were doing. Kind of, you know what I'm saying? Holding one another accountable. Like, all right, we always complain about women, but you know, some of this stuff is our fault, and you can only get but so much love. All right, the empathy and all that. All right, that's enough. Time to get up. Time to stop pouting. Pull yourself together.
It was a really good show. Anything that'll make me stay up beyond midnight to pay attention is a good show. So, you know, good to have you, Brian.
Thank you.
And then we'll do Mr. Gross, you next.
So, my name is Kevin Gross. People call me Crazy Kevin. I am one half of the dynamic duo known as. I know you agree with me, Brian. I am one half of the dynamic duo known as Two Fat Guys Podcast. That is the actual name. Two Fat Guys Podcast.
Love it. I love it.
I can't.
Look, we keep it 100. He a fat guy. I'm a fat guy, and we a podcast. That's how we do it.
Almost choked.
Y'all give me a third.
I ain't gonna lie. I felt kind of out of place looking at the husband's lounge and the basement with B. I'm like, I'm the only goofy podcast coming on here.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
University.
Yeah, we're gonna get that.
You ain't seen the bloopers.
I got into podcasting. I always wanted to do podcasts. I just didn't know how to do it, or like the proper way to do it. I watch podcasts. I listen to podcasts, and I knew that if I wanted to do it, I had to have a partner, somebody to bounce off of. So, lo and behold, my man Danny, who was my co-host and partner, reached out to me because I had been posting like devotional videos and stuff, and he was like, "Dude, like, because of you, I want to do this podcast, and I want you to come take this ride with me." I said, "Bet." We're about to start our second season next month. It'll be our 25th episode.
All right.
Good job.
So, our topics is shenanigans. We talk about wrestling. We talk about Marvel, DC, just geek out stuff, nerd stuff when people can just come and have fun and just chill out for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours and not worry about the last 6 days of the week. That's what we do. So, and we're still growing like the rest of y'all. We started on Facebook Live, holding our phones. That first episode was trash, but it was the funnest thing I ever did in my life. And after that, I was like, yo, we got to go from this to this. And then we use StreamYard. We are on different platforms now.
Cut the check. Tell them cut the check.
We're working on it.
Cut the
Working
check.
on it.
We don't give out no free promos.
Right, cut the check.
So, no, we doing things right now. So, and once again, thank you, Chris, for having me on here. Definitely appreciate it.
I appreciate you for jumping in. And then last and definitely not least, Brian with an I.
The one that matters. It's like, no, I'm playing.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian. I am the host of the Married Life podcast, as well as the host of In the Basement with B. I've been doing the Married Life podcast since 2024. So I want to say 2022, mid 2022. It was with me and my wife. Unfortunately, she passed away. So we was doing that, and then I was doing In the Basement with B. With the Married Life is what it was. We talked about the married life. We talked about the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and all things considered with the married life. In the Basement with B, it was as with Kevin. I have a real fondness of pop culture. So I did talk about wrestling. I talked about comic books. I talked about movie trailers. I talked about if the dog outside had one leg. I talked about that. I talked about any and everything. And I was the old man in the basement with B. That's where that was. That was what In the Basement. Stop it, Kevin. You die yours. But
Damn.
again, Chrissy, thank you for having this. You know, my second time being on here. So I count it a privilege and a joy to be back here.
I thank all of you guys. Seeing as this is a newer show for me, I've only been doing this show since March. The
Clap it
other,
up.
yeah,
Clap it up.
Uh,
It's heat.
it's a lot of fun, and this is kind of what I wanted. The other podcast that I do is called the Lazarus Movement. It is a Bible study based podcast. I've been doing that since I moved to Colorado in 2017. So as we were talking backstage about old videos, and hear about old videos, when I go back and look at those first videos in 2017. When I was doing them on the floor in my apartment versus doing them now, it is a very humbling experience. So I appreciate it. So now that we've gotten all the introductions done, I'd like to know, why do you guys podcast?
I'm gonna take that one.
Okay.
I'll start off. I podcast because I need outlets. I need something to do other than I like to put my stupidity to work. You know,
Yo, put that on a t-shirt.
I like to put my stupidity to work. So anybody and everybody that knows me knows Kevin is loud, Kevin is funny, Kevin can be stupid, Kevin is a bunch of things. So this is what the podcast allows me to do, is to share who I am with everybody. And it's just fun to do, man. Like, and then we get to meet new people. Like, I wouldn't have probably met Charles and Brian with the Y without this platform being here. So we get to now politic and get to connect with new people and just make new friends along the way.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important. It's definitely important in our space to collaborate, you know, because, you know, we're not all blessed yet to just hit that one viral moment that'll take us into the stratosphere. You know, and sometimes it takes a while. Like, even with Dating University, us being almost in 8 years, it's we bubbled a little bit, but we're still trying to break through to that next level.
Charles, stop being about. You are a nominated podcast for an award. Charles,
what?
Okay, that's true. Okay, that's true. Okay, that's true.
You are a nominated podcast.
Come on with it.
That's true. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes,
Humility is impeccable, sir.
Listen, I try, man. But to answer your question again, like, why do we podcast? I podcast because I got a lot to say. I may not know it all, but I know a lot about a little. And you know, I feel like I've seen quite a bit, and if I can help anybody go, you know, navigate this world of, you know, relationships, because that's what both of our podcasts are geared towards. If it can help anybody, because if you know my story, man, I've been through it all. Like, I've seen it, and I'm like, the whole time I kept saying, I was like, man, I need to write a book about my life. Ain't nobody gonna believe this, man. And you know, so with the podcast, I get to verbalize my life and empathize and sympathize with others who are going through some things that either I've gone through or haven't gone through or just had no idea was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with us, when me and my wife, when we started the married life, it came out. I don't want to say a necessity, but a lot of her friends and family, and most of her friends, I'm not gonna say family, always come to us for quote advice. They always was wondering how we maintained our marriage the way we did. And I mean, my joke with that was, people think we were the Cosbys, but we really was the Simpsons. You may like don't know that car ride to the church or car ride to the family function. We like, look, I gave a Coach Carter speech at the car every time. Like, listen, we get in this house, this, that, but we just saw. I like literally, the Married Life podcast came out of Pillow Talk. It was Pillow Talk. We was laying in bed and we was like, I was like, hey babe, I think we should do this. She's like, okay, and which was a lot for her because she wasn't a very sociable person. She didn't like always being in front of the camera. She didn't like always having the spotlight on her. So that was big, for her to even to attempt to do that. That was good. And with the basement and the basement with B, that came out of boredom. I had knee surgery, and I was bored out of my mind. And it was to the point where I got on my wife's nerves. She's like, "You need to find something to do." And she's like, "You're always in the basement, so do something off of what you like." And I think I was watching. I don't want to name drop them because they're not paying us, but I was watching another video on YouTube, and I was like, I could do that. I know enough about comic books. I know enough about wrestling to express my opinion on it. So that's where in the basement with B was just that. I was just in the basement. You're in the basement with me. And in the basement with B was just it was literally born out of boredom. My leg was in a cast. It was wrapped up. I really couldn't work. I couldn't do nothing else but play video games and watch wrestling and see comic books. So if I'm going to do all of that, I might as well express my love for it to the masses. So that's where that came from.
With the Husband's Lounge, I just saw it was a void. When I was married, when I got married, wow.
What? Wait.
You keep saying that. You will be.
When I proposed, there was no space where husbands could talk, or even fiancés could talk and really figure it out. That's what made me generate or create the Husband's Lounge Facebook group. And then out of that, you could just see the questions and the concerns of most men in the group didn't know exactly how to express themselves, or not necessarily express themselves. You found them to express themselves a little bit more because it was a safe space. And to find out that people were like me or had issues, or not even issues, they just wanted to express how their marriage was going. I found it like that void needed to be filled. And I wanted to start this podcast back in 2020. I actually jumped on Dating University as a guest on Charles's other podcast. And I told after we did the show, I told him, I was like, yeah, man, I want to do a podcast, but me and the missus wasn't seeing eye to eye at that moment. And if I had started it then, the demise of my marriage would have been implemented at that moment. I'm not saying that we were in a terrible space, but it would have been, the podcast would have been created out of hate or anger, and that wouldn't have been good. So 3 years later, I came to Charles in 2023 and told him, I said, hey man, listen, you about to get married. It only makes sense because you're familiar with the podcast life. And I jumped on. I was like, man, listen, we need to start this. And he knew about my vision. He knew how I wanted it to be. And then we just sat down and we collaborated and came up with the idea of everything geared around husbands. So anytime that a guest comes on, it'll be a husband speaking from like a financial side of it, entrepreneur side of it, just so you can get the balance of him being a husband and what he does for his day to day. So yeah, that's where it generated from. It generated from a void. If you was to go on any of the platforms, you would not see any information with regards to being a husband or anything like that. So I just saw the void needed to be filled. And y'all speak on, that first episode. Our first episode is our most trending episodes.
Right?
So, I'm proud of that. But that's where it generated from.
And I think that's a really good segue to say, how do you balance your life as a podcaster? Like, many of you are married, many of you have children.
Yeah.
I know everybody on here's got a job, a regular
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Trying to get rid of that now.
Yeah, I
Let's-
know, right? Can I retire early? Like how do you balance doing all the things that you do in your regular life and do the podcast stuff?
So I'll speak just because I just spoke on like the balance of it. With having a family, and I have a newborn, it's tough, and especially with having another host. So me and Charles struggle now with like our scheduling to record, because and this is probably one of the questions you're going to ask. So, but we record, so it does place us in a pickle when it comes to trying to get time to record. But the balance is the good thing is that I can do it from home. That eliminates going into another office or going somewhere to record or doing that. And my wife, she once was a podcaster. She had her and two other girls, ladies, had a podcast called The Real Life of Moms and Wives or something like that, where they spoke on the life of being a mother and the life of being a wife. And that's another reason why it's like I was like, yo, y'all creating all this content, but there's no men doing it. So I guess this means that I need to do it. So she put the battery in my back to actually create it. And yeah, we but the balance is there now. Like, well, it's semi there. As soon as me and Charles can get a good schedule going on, he's a newly married man. I have a newborn. It's tough. My goal is for us to record 3 to 4 shows, and we can just put them out and feed the people with good content while we take a hiatus for like a 3 or 4 weeks. So
3 or 4 weeks, yeah. Brian with a Y, like you have a pretty interesting job. So you've been on several, and you want to start your own. So how does balance look like to you?
So initially, when we started, especially with Smoke Break, all the previous shows, it was weird. We kind of treated it like a job. We recording Wednesday at 9. So ain't no I got work or I'm going out with this. Nah. If you on the show, Wednesday at 9. So you gotta like you know what I'm saying? Like treat it, especially back then in college, because that was like our goal. Like our goal was to make a living off this. So you gotta take it serious. So the same way, like, all right, you going to the people that go to the gym? Now I'm in the gym this day, this time. Nothing is taking that spot. You know what I'm saying? So you got to like apply that same energy to it if you wanted to grow to a certain level. Now, if it's just hobby, then you get to it when you get to it. But if you really being serious, like, no, this day, this time, I can't concern myself with who need what. Y'all know, because y'all also know, y'all in the house, spouse, children. Hey, this day, this time, daddy's doing this.
She did. Yes,
yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I like it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. I want you to go ahead because you've been quiet.
Nah, first of all, I'm far from quiet. No, the work life or pod life balance for me is we do everything live. We rarely record, so that's where the niche comes in, or the niche, comes in for us. Because, like I said, my partner and I, we both work 5 days a week, but he works Saturday mornings. We broadcast Saturday evening. I'm Monday through Friday, so a lot of the stuff that we post, I'm posting from the comfort of my desk at work. So as far as like our social media stuff, I'm working on. Now, like the visual effects, that's him. When he got his downtime, he bangs that out. So we do have that balance. The only sometimes I like to start the show at 8, but if he's running late or if he has to go grab his son from football practice or whatever, we tend to run a little bit late. But our fan base kind of understand that we keep our fan base up to date. Like, yo, we starting, just be patient, and we like to throw the feelers out. So as far as like my wife and I, she knows once I'm in here and that ring light comes on, she goes in the room, she closes the door because she know that her husband's about to get loud.
Wow.
So when she lets me have my space, she will comment if we're doing like a wrestling thing. We talking about The Rock, she'll jump in and tell her don't be disrespecting him or whatever. But yeah, but she's pretty cool with it, and that's how we work the balance out for the show. I would like to get to the point to where we can do some recordings for some added content, but because of the stuff that we do, it's hard to do pre-record, especially if we're doing like a wrestling show. So it's hard to do the pre-recorded stuff. And like when we talk about comics or whatever, we can do pre-recorded, but even then that becomes a problem. Trying to find a free day during the week. And by the time I get home, we worked all day. We tired. Last thing we want to do is stare at the computer all day.
Mm-hmm. All right, Charles.
Yeah. It starts with having a good partner, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
when I first started getting into this podcast life, and Brittany and I, we were doing the shows, and we would be over each other's houses to do the shows. And because we were so brand new and the technology really wasn't there, we had two phones side by side going live. And because of the ratio of the screen, we had to be like extremely close
Mm-hmm.
in order for both our faces to be into the screen.
Look like y'all were dating.
Look like we were dating. And that's the impression that a lot of the women that I was dating got, and some of the men that she was dating at the time got.
Really?
It was a mess. Like every new woman that I met, I had to just jump right out and say, like, look, check this out. I got a podcast, I got a show. That dude is with a woman. We're cool. There's nothing going on. We dated like briefly. Nothing really happened. And we retained our friendship. And now we got a show. Oh, I don't like that. No. You had to go away. Because I'm like, bro, you're not gonna, you can't come into my chapter and try to write.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't do that. So
They can
I
edit
gotta
it,
use
bro.
that. I gotta use that. Can't come into my chapter and try. That's
Yeah,
stolen.
but they gonna edit it. They gonna edit your book.
They're gonna
you,
write.
you feel me?
You married now. They're gonna write.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the right person got to edit it though, because
The
you give
right
the wrong
person gotta
person the pen, your story will be messed up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, facts.
In comes my girlfriend, who turned into my fiance, who turned into my wife. Right? I was like, all right, babe, check this out. I got this thing that I do. I've been dealing with this for quite some time. Are you okay with it? She was like, is there anything going on? I was like, no. She was like, all right, cool. I support you. And she's been like the biggest supporter ever since. And like, she pushes me, like Bethany was saying, like she put the battery in my back. If I go too long without doing the show, like she just talked to me last night.
Yeah.
And you and Anthony recording
Yeah.
again. All right,
Yeah,
check it out.
I got
Yo,
the text message, yo.
like we like we doing it, yo. Like chill, like we good. So yeah, it's that partner that keeps you engaged, that keeps you grounded, gives you ideas, gives you the other side of the game, something that you're not seeing. And I appreciate that, and that makes it 100 times easier. Like, she know on Thursdays I'm recording. I mean, and we do our show live, like Kev does. So yeah, that's a whole different thing. Anything can happen. We can start on time, or we can start a little later. Just it is what it is. And thank God for our fan base. Like, I love our fan base for real.
Mhm.
Oh, Karen got some great questions. I can't
She
wait.
does.
I can't wait to get to those.
I want to give Brian with an eye an opportunity to answer, and then I'll pull Karen's questions from the chat.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a little low, but
All right, I just make sure I'm having technical difficulties. I'm trying a new
Clearly.
setup, so
He got different camera views and stuff.
I know we
Dang,
we,
yo.
we
Camera 1 and
elevated
camera
ourselves.
Studio 2B.
Go ahead.
Jeez.
He's showing off the new workout.
Right.
Sun's out, guns out. No, I mean I agree with all the guys. It's just it makes it, when a good balance is just having a good partner. Again, when my wife was living, when we was doing our Married Life podcast, we pretty much told the kids. Shout out to my daughter. Yeah, I know she's probably not watching, but shout out to my daughter, Shamaya. She keeps the boys in check. She makes sure that, listen, Daddy is doing his recording. Give him a minute, then I could be dad after that. Even before my wife passed, when I was doing In the Basement with B, it was almost like Uncle Jesse and Full House. When I went in the basement, shut the door, the light came on. You know not to come in the basement. Daddy's recording. I like doing my shows live. I do plan on doing recordings, but I like doing them live because I like to interact with people. And anybody who knows me know I am a sociable person. I want to engage with you. I want to have conversation with you. So I always want to try to engage with my audience. And that's sometimes like with Karen, you get some of the best questions live. You can't answer the question after the show is off then. But yeah, I like doing it live. I do eventually want to transition to doing it recordings and having where people can listen to it outside of just scrolling on Facebook. You could go on Spotify, you could go on Apple Music, as with my two esteemed brothers, Anthony and Charles. You could go on Spotify, and if it drops Thursday, you could go on Spotify Friday and listening to it. But yeah, again, I shout out to my daughter and my wife, who just always kept that balance, where they made sure I was in the space where I needed to record. Like, again, when I did my In the Basement, I'm like, all right, babe, I'm going downstairs. Can you keep the kids up here? I don't even care if they run around, because that normally doesn't pick up, but just keep them from coming downstairs. Because anybody who knows my boys, they could be boys,
My guys.
and they will come downstairs and wreck shop. It will become In the Basement with B and his boys. Quit. And
That's such a ride along, though.
yeah,
That's your ride along, right?
Yeah, Rod would be in his boys. Yeah, that's another one I do.
Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's another one I do. Rod would be in his boys. It's just something that but yeah, it all like Charles and all my other co-hosts said, comes down to a great partner, whether in life or in business. It just comes down to a great partner. You have to have a partner that you sync with, a partner that you link with, that they know your shortcomings and theirs, where to the point where you can hide them, where no one else sees them. You see them, but no one else sees them.
Yep. All right, here's one of those live awesome questions. So, how many episodes do you all have in a season? First of all, do you guys even do seasons? If so, how many episodes do you have? Are they based on topics, calendar year, what have you?
So our show, Dating University, my God, we've gone through many changes. We had to find that happy median of like to catch people, because Wednesdays people are like hump day, I ain't worried about nothing. Fridays they were like, I'm outside. So Thursdays became our like happy medium. We try to do anywhere between 12 to 15 episodes a season. And we do follow like a school-based calendar.
Okay.
So like right now, school is out, so we're out. We're off for the summer, which gives me time to work on the Husband's Lounge podcast. Yes. And so yeah, it's great to do it that way, because you have a structure. People like the consistency. And that's the one thing one of the things that I've really learned about being a podcaster is people love consistency. They know that they can count on you for what time you're gonna come on live, what time your episode is gonna drop, what day your episode is gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? What you say in the beginning, do you say the same thing for every intro? You know what I'm saying? It's those type of things that people love, and because humans love consistency. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Anybody
for-
else any different? Go ahead, Kevin.
For us, it's like I said, we're about to start season 2 in about 6 weeks. So it'll be our 25th episode. So I think 25 is going to be the mark for us. For every time we hit 25, then we're going to roll out a new season. And for us, for every season, we do have. We're going to stick to the core that we've gotten to this point, but we're adding stuff. Like I heard somebody mention trailer reviews, so we're actually starting to do trailer reviews for like video games and movies this season coming around. So we're actually growing the content every season, and we also are taking feedback from the people that watch us daily. You're absolutely right, Charles. Consistency is everything. I do the same intro, the same outro, the same introductions for like myself and my partner. So consistency is the key for us. That's why I want to make sure that we stay as consistent as possible, because I've noticed that the fan base is growing because of the consistency.
Yeah.
Also, it's just making sure your content stays fresh too. Making sure the content stays fresh, because I've learned very easily in this lifestyle. Because fortunately, it depends how you look at it. Podcasting is a lifestyle. If this is something that you're really committed to, it is now a lifestyle for you. And consistency and freshness is a must. You got to come up with fresh content. You got to have stuff. So we do series on things. We're doing a Fast and Furious series breakdown. Don't joke, but it's a lot deeper than what I thought it was going to be for these Fast and Furious, and we're doing it in chronological order, not the way the movies came out. So it's been a lot of footwork, but people are liking it. People are feeding into it. People are giving us positive feedback. So it's stuff like that. And like I said, when y'all got people got suggestions, we'll look at it. We'll take it into consideration. Like, yo, this might be a good show. We came up with show ideas in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the same on the Husband's Lounge with regards to episodes, because we're only 7 episodes in, but I do like that 12 to 15 episode. What I do want, and I spoke with Charles with regards to this, our final episode of each season, and this is to piggyback with Karen's question, doing it live on set where we can have and it's funny that she had that question, where we can answer questions live, like the conversation, tonight's conversations platform. I like that idea, whereas though men as well as women, husbands as well as wives, can come in and ask questions with regards to the life of being a husband, or issues that they may have, that we can not give our expert opinions, but our opinions on, with regards to, you know, how we can handle it, or even if we've been through a situation like that. But yeah, that's our goal. When we hit that end of season time frame, that's when we'll do the live on set interview style.
Okay. Anybody else take a stab at this question before I move on?
I mean, with us, with the Married Life, we was pretty consistent. We was doing it every other Sunday, and you know, those who know, unfortunately, you know, my wife, unfortunately, she passed away. So it's been a bit of restructuring for me now. I just did an episode 2 weeks ago where it's more of a reintroduction of myself, just letting you know, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still going to do all this. Again, to piggyback on Karen's, my plan is with the new format of the Married Life podcast is to have a rotating, almost like a guest of the week type of format, where I have people come in, male, female, or indifferent. Well, I guess you could say indifferent nowadays. I mean, trying to be politically correct.
The Husband's Lounge is a Christian-based
Come on,
podcast.
say it, Anthony.
Come on,
say it.
Come on.
God created. Oh, never mind.
Hey, I ain't mad at it, heavy.
But yeah, I mean,
I got a whole different situation going on
with the new format. I'm looking for, as far as with the Married Life podcast, it is going to be a rotating host. I mean, you know, there's going to be a few episodes where it's just me. Then you may see an episode where it's me and the host, male or female, where we talk about, you know, marriage. Same with In the Basement With B. Anthony actually, he commented on the last show I did with you, Chris, where he saw my passion when it came to me talking about comic books and things like that. And he's like, B, like, you really need to like branch and do something like that. Like you were so like everybody who knows me, I've been collecting comic books since 5th grade. So that's one thing that. So Kevin, if you ever need another person to come in and do those. Dude,
I'm already on it, fam. I'm waiting to. I'm counting down to when this is over so I can inbox you. Because
just inbox.
Trust.
But,
you're welcome.
So yeah,
thank you.
So yeah, like with In the Basement With B, it was just more random. Again, because I was doing it because of my knee. I just needed something to do, but I realized how much I like doing it. Actually, I'm dropping a tidbit now for those who are listening. For the premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine, I, as an episode of In the Basement With B, as getting a movie theater, and we'll do a live episode of In the Basement With B as we watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's illegal.
Look for
Brian,
that.
you might want to speak. You might want to look into that.
But, like,
The
don't
legalities.
As long as he doesn't air it. As long as he doesn't
air
show
the
it.
I'm not going to air it. Like it's going
Yeah.
to be. You're not. It's going to be muted in some points. Like I think it's going to be more so.
We gotta
you
get
see
this
us
man a
before.
lawyer.
I'm announcing it on my show.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie. I'm not going to broadcast the whole movie. I'm
No,
not going
so
to
in
broadcast the whole movie.
In the
It's going to be a
wrestling podcast
before
world,
and an
wrestling
after.
Okay, because in the wrestling podcast world, we call that a live reaction, where it's playing in the background where you can't see it, so we're not getting copyrighted, but we're reacting to it as it's happening in live time. So
Absolutely.
Let's cover each other. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Boy, you about to get hit with a lawsuit.
Marvel about to hit me bad.
That cease and desist ain't no joke.
All I'm saying is Marvel might get themselves a new commentator, and then that's when the checks
Listen.
start rolling in. So
Hey, listen, I
me
can
at
from
the
a
end of the
positive
day, cut
note,
the check.
but they don't
Okay.
look at it from that aspect.
I know they don't,
It
but
goes to his black
Take it
man.
down, and I better not tell you
Take it
again.
down and take it down now.
Take it down now.
so
Not yesterday, but now.
you guys are throwing out all of these like concepts and show ideas and all of these types of things. Like, how do you guys come up with the content? Like, Brian, when you talked about, like, as an avid watcher of the Nympathy show, I wondered how you and Doug came up with some of the conversations. Like, I know sometimes we do things out of pop culture, but when pop culture not popping, like, what do you do?
I think Doug and I have a phenomenal ability to argue for hours.
Y'all do.
So
That's awesome.
One of the
That
best
is
parts of the show.
awesome.
yeah, so we don't need a ton of subjects. More often than not, we never hit all of the subjects because we just cannot stop. Well, more so, he cannot stop. I be trying to stop, but he swear he right, and he's not.
That's a good dynamic.
That's a great dynamic. I
That's a
love that.
great dynamic.
I need for y'all to go back and watch some of these shows. 'cause
I'm going
to
it-
check
it
them
is
out.
I'm
hilarious.
definitely going back and watch.
It's like, there's no way you think that's what it is. There's no way that you think that, bro. You can't think that. And we-
Yeah.
Is it like that? That
Yo,
one
YB
podcast with
something
that
podcast?
black guy and the white guy and the
Yo,
black
hilarious.
guy. Is just,
Yo,
it's
I've been
just
watching
like,
them all day at work.
oh my
Yeah.
god, he makes the dumbest
Oh
observations.
no! He's not slow. No,
Oh,
he's
No, I'm not saying that he's slow, but I'm just saying
I know
that
what you're talking about. Yeah, no, he's
he's in
not
that
that.
same kind of back and forth. Like how could you even think that?
I don't talk to people like that. You ain't gonna get that much. You ain't gonna get that much time out of me. Once I, that's where you, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, he be out there.
now I feel like that. I feel like that with my partner. Like I sometimes I have to be the adult. Because sometimes we'll go left, and I'll be like, we gotta bring it back. We PG-13, like we gotta bring it back. So sometimes I know what you mean, Brian, with a while when you just be sitting and looking at your partner like, who gave birth to you?
Wow, that's
Wow,
harsh,
Kev.
but I guess.
But it let you get through life this long. So
Yeah.
no, I definitely get it though. But good banter is entertaining, especially when it's organic. I think that's the thing that works for us is that it's completely organic. Like we talk throughout the week, but as far as like how the show flow is going to go, we really don't discuss. Like
Yeah.
they'll pull up the platform, our streaming platform. We'll see what's in there, and then we'll just go. We'll just go from there, and what happens, and hopefully we don't get banned on Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah, me and Charles.
This is a real damn thing.
Yeah, Charles and myself, we pretty much are. I think the passion of being a husband exceeds the passion of being podcasters, and I think that exudes through the conversations that we have with one another. Sometimes it does go left, but it's still like on topic, if that makes sense, or it creates another topic within the topic itself. Just out of conversation that we're having. There's times with just our intro. One thing that we do, we ask how each other's week is going, or how each other's week has went. And we kind of like, it's more so asking how are you and your wife doing throughout the week, and it generates a whole conversation outside of what the content is supposed to be about that day or what we're recording that day. So yeah, our conversation just generates more conversation, and then next thing you know, Charles is texting me like the next day, like we need to create an episode for this, or we need to create an episode for that, or I might hit him and be like, dude, like we need to like really like speak more on what we generated in that episode. So yeah, that's how it typically works out for us. We don't talk throughout the week. We set it up like maybe like on a Tuesday, and we record that Saturday or Sunday, and then the episode is out that Thursday, 6 a.m. So
Okay. Now,
yeah, it was
Brian with an I, your riding with B conversations are completely random.
hilarious.
Whether the boys participate or not, it is a hilarious kind of a conversation. Do you just say, okay, guess what, I'm going live, and then you press live, and then
exactly what happens. That's exactly what
He
happens.
also did his
Like,
best.
like it is the most unscripted reality show for the 15-minute ride.
That's exactly
from my
what it is, a
house,
reality show.
from my house to drop them boys off at school, or me the work. It's like I legitimately just feed off of what I see y'all talk about. Like I said, when I get on live, one of the things I say, okay, Facebook, what y'all want to talk about today? 9 times out of 10, somebody want to talk about something. And when the boys are with me, when I had my guys with me, it's just sometimes just what they want to do at school. And when they was in school, like, one had music, they was in the Moana play. They wanted to talk about the Moana play. So yeah, Ride with B is just the most random show. Like it's just literally me putting my phone on my stand, hit live, and whatever happens. It's like catch what happens live.
B,
when I did, yeah.
I want to jump in on your Ride with B one day. Yo. That's
All right, listen, I
come
accept
scoop me,
all
guys.
No, but I'm gonna need you to give Cody Rhodes back his tagline. I peeped out what you did. I'm gonna need you to get that back to Cody Rhodes.
Hey, listen, Cody don't need it. He making enough money being.
all right. For the non-wrestling people over my head.
listen.
Even with the Murray life,
At least I don't feel bad now that I'm not the only one who
to
don't
go
know
over my
what's
head.
going on. Like
yeah,
seriously.
even with the Murray life, even when me and Shauna did the Murray life, again, Kevin, go back to what you said. It was almost like we had the straight shooter, and then we had, I guess you could call me the comic relief, because I was always the one veering off the rails. And if you literally look back at me and my wife's shows, you can see her hitting me with the elbow, like,
We'll give you that
that's
look.
not what we was
Give that look.
give me that look, like
That look,
that's not
yo.
what we was talking about. Like, but Yeah, it's just always that again, it just comes down to the balance of having a good partner. The way we structured our shows out with the Married Life, our shows was always just what we talked about in the bedroom in front of the camera. Of course, we cleaned it up a little bit, make it safe for human consumption.
Human consumption.
Not public consumption.
Wow.
Not public consumption.
Wow.
She's gonna get me with that one.
Yeah.
But we just made sure it was it was what people again. It was just our conversations that we talked about in the Married Life. Was sometimes conversations we had in the car, conversations we had sitting at the dinner table. I like, well, babe, maybe we want to see that. Like I said, the last couple of episodes we was doing was our vow series where we just broke down what each vow meant to us. We did a series where we did one with our daughter about having a blended family. So pretty much what we did with the Married Life was just conversations everybody had, but was just scared to really talk about. And then the basement B was just me being me, talking about comic books.
All right. Well, as we're kind of winding down to the end here, what keeps you guys inspired?
Me,
Honestly,
For me, what keeps me inspired is I have the vision of where I know where I'm going to be. I did not think that at the time, age 36, that I would have a new dream, that I would have a new vision, that I would have a new purpose to do. And that's what keeps me going, because I feel like there are so many voices out here that need to be heard.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
with all the experience that I've gained through trial and error of this podcast life, because I saw a couple questions that were just like beautiful. Like, what advice would I give to my starting self? Monetize. Monetize. Like, period. Find a way to monetize your platform. And with even with the little bit of experience that I've had, I had a bunch of people come to me, was like, hey, look, I want to start one. Can you help me? And I was looking at them like, you need a real person who knows this game. I only know a little bit. And, my first client, she was just like, I got an idea. I want to run you by you. I'll give you $25. I was like, all right, cool.
Monetize.
Don't do nothing for free. If you're good at it, don't do it for free.
All right,
No matter what it is, don't do it for free. And so I took her on as a client. I helped her with her concept. I got her platform. I got her, and I do say this now. I was like, I'll start from the inception all the way up to your first episode. I'm walking with you. So then I got a second client, and I was like, okay, cool. I got one client. I got to up my price just a little bit, so I upped the price a little bit
to $30.
Betty, man, you know what I'm talking about? You got to double up. So, and I love what she's doing with hers. And then a third one came. I'm helping her. She's still doing her, development process. And then Anthony came. I ain't charged my man because I'm hosting. So, so I'm gonna get my proceeds regardless.
I was smart about it. I said, listen, man, we gonna start this podcast.
He was slick. He knew what he was doing. But yeah, I'm gonna get the proceeds in the long run. So it's all good.
Listen, you already know where we're gonna take this, man. It's gonna get bigger than what we expect.
I mean, like I said, so I went from being a podcaster to being a podcast consultant, which led me to my new dream of having a media group, a bunch of people who are my clients. We're all under one umbrella. We have a building, we have space, we have podcast space, and we can rent that space out. That is the dream. And, and I'm like, look, we all have a voice. We all have a vision. why not get in? Because this podcast life, like the industry, the
$billion.
money,
It's
the
a $1 billion
money,
industry.
money.
Multi-billion
We're
dollar.
talking about
Yeah,
like
multi-billion
double-digit
at this point.
B's, double-digit billions. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you really look at how we consume content now, you have to think 3 and 4 years ahead.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, we're not going to have TV like we have. We're not going to have commercials like we have. We're going to have it's going to be different. So that's what keeps me inspired to push. And I really, another piece of advice that I would give to my starting self: have the faith to really jump out there. I could have really did it. I could have quit my job and really jumped in it, but I'm not even gonna lie, I was afraid because I was by myself. I didn't have no, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to maintain this little bit of life that I had. I didn't want to fail. I couldn't be back at mom and dad's house, you know. So it was that sort of thing that kept me going. All right, I'm gonna shut up.
But I think you make a really good point. I think that at the end of the day, this industry is always evolving. Like it's not the same that it was 6 months ago. And when we look back at this point 6 months from now, it's still not going to be the same. So we have to stay ahead of the curve in order for our podcast to continue to thrive and survive.
Yeah.
So, it's the nature of, I think, anything social media geared, So y'all have like answered several questions all at one time. So that makes organic conversation so much easier. As we get to the wrap up point, there's one question that I ask all of my guests, no matter what the topic is and no matter who you are. Two of them already know because they've been on the show before, but for everybody else, since this is called Coffee and Tea, I'd like to know, which team do you represent, coffee or tea, and then what do you drink?
I guess my caffeinated preference, other than see, it's weird because I drink iced tea, but I rarely drink hot tea. But if they're talking about hot beverages, that I'm probably going to go like coffee cappuccino style, French vanilla. So that's my preference, a hot caffeinated drink, if that's what you're referring to. Cold iced tea, good old fashioned iced tea.
All right. Anybody else chime in?
So
all of you have to answer. So
as you saw, I had my coffee cup, and I say coffee because that's what was in it. I am a coffee guy. I do drink tea only when necessary, meaning if I'm sick. But yeah, coffee and my go-to. If I make it at home, I have a coffee press, so I'll use the coffee press, vanilla flavored or a white chocolate mocha flavored with a sprinkle of salt.
Oh, he's fancy.
Yeah, sprinkle of salt.
I heard that today. That's crazy.
Yeah, sprinkle of salt because it enhances the flavor. It's kind of like putting salt on watermelon. It enhances the flavor. So sprinkle of salt, not a lot of sugar. I do caramel drizzle, and then maybe a creamer, depending on how I really feel. Now, do I drink coffee often? No.
You are what they call it.
You gotta turn it into coffee. Yeah.
What do those people call at Starbucks that make the coffee?
Barista?
Yeah, that's what this brother is. He is a barista in his own house.
No. Actually, one of my closest friends, he was the one that put me on with the coffee game. Told me go buy a coffee press, and then he jumped to a whole nother type of concoction to make coffee with. I'm sticking with my coffee press. That's it. But yeah, that's what
you are the first black man I've ever met that owned his own coffee press. I'm just saying that right now. That does not have a house somewhere in the hills.
Yeah. Yeah, that mocha with salt is just it just takes it to another level.
Don't
puts you-
entertain him. He drink black coffee. That's I don't even know why Tony even asking
Black
about
coffee,
mocha
no
nothing
sugar,
with
no
salt.
cream. But
Mm-mm.
nah, that's my go-to. If I'm home. Now, if I go out, if I'm at a Starbucks, I'm a white chocolate mocha with caramel drizzle, and whipped cream on top. Or if I'm typically when I'm at Starbucks, I get the dragon fruit tea. Or I'll get the medicine ball if I'm sick, which is one of the greatest teas that Starbucks
100%.
ever makes.
I be
Shout out to Starbucks, even
On a
though they're
regular
not
day.
paying us.
Yeah, I ain't got to
Drink-
be
be
sick. A
drinking it.
regular day.
Yeah, you can drink that
you
on a
can-
regular
you can
day. I
cut
actually
six-
got the ingredients here to make it. So
I must be dysfunctional because I don't go to Starbucks.
Okay, so scratch Kevin's check. I'll take his, but 5 checks Starbucks can write for
Cut
us.
the check,
Cut
Starbucks.
the check. All right, Charles.
I've
bourbon guy.
always been one to buck the system. I am a tea man through and through. Give me Earl Grey, give me green, give me English breakfast, give me oolong, give me. I don't care. Like I'm here for tea. Now, my wife, if you can see,
Yeah, I'm about to say because I definitely see a
She got
coffee creamer
a
bottle right
whole
here.
situation over it. It's crazy over this piece.
Wow.
So, us coffee people
Listen,
unite.
she is a coffee enthusiast. So she's slowly bringing me around to coffee because when I would get coffee, I would be like Anthony. I'm getting everything that looks like coffee, but it ain't. Like it got all the caramel drizzle, cappuccino, frappuccino, whipped cream, caramel,
You like
all
coffee
of
with
that.
some
Like
sugar.
I'm here for
Facts.
all of that. Like frappuccino. If we going into a Wawa or we going into like a Royal Farms or something, like I'm heading straight for the frappuccino machine. Like that's just it. Like I'm gonna get that. But yeah, tea is my thing. I love the the small complexities. They're very subtle, but they're very complex. Of just depending on which degree of water you use when it comes to making the teas, and they give you different strengths. They give you different.
water.
Don't be hating. I was quiet when you was talking about your little mocha and salt. I was quiet. I was quiet. I gave you.
of the water, sir.
Hilarious.
You sound like you making
I'm
making Ashton a bottle right now. You
No, but
Wow.
I'm not a tea connoisseur.
Wow.
I'm not a tea connoisseur by any means, but I have worked with people that are tea connoisseurs, and everything he's saying is absolute gospel. The water temperature has to be certain when it depends on when the leaves was plucked, when it was bagged, what season it is, where it came from, what origin of the world the tea was grown in. It is ridiculous. Just give me a freaking cup of coffee. The beans came from Colombia, and I'm Gucci. I'm happy. I ain't gotta go through all this.
It's a thing that kind of is. It's like smoking a cigar. It's basically taking your time to slow down.
It is.
And just enjoy the experience of having tea.
Like, that's why I smoke my cigars.
Well, coffee and tea, y'all. Coffee and tea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a cigar with my coffee.
Brian with I.
I'm definitely team coffee. I drink like I think I said this on your last show. Coffee spelled backwards is EFOC, and I don't give EFOC until I have my coffee.
That's hilarious, actually. That's actually hilarious.
So my go-to is I like Dunkin'. I guess just because this is up the street from my job, so I get the Dunkin' midnight. Yeah, it's convenient. Now, the most I've ever spent on a cup of coffee, and Anthony and Charles, y'all probably gonna take my card once I say this.
I'm on the way. Hold on.
I spent $125 on a cup of coffee.
On
You
what?
out.
I'm gonna punch him. I'm punching him in his face. I'm
On
punching him in
what?
his face. I'm on the way.
So
Open the door.
Hold
I
on,
wanted-
Did somebody fly the beans in like
wait a
what,
minute.
at that
Wait,
moment? Because
wait,
you know
wait,
what
so
I'm
there's-
talking about.
Wait. We gotta let him get this story out.
No,
So-
you
I'm
don't.
calling Shemaya and telling her to
He
open
was-
the door.
he was
because
smart
I'm on
enough.
my way.
This, my
He
brother.
was smart enough to say that on this podcast, because if he had told me that in person, I'd have punched
You
him in his
detect
face.
him. You detect him. I
So
know.
there's this coffee that is from Colombia that is fermented through in animals.
The Senet, the
Yes.
The
I
one
wanted
with
to
the
try
bat.
it.
It's the bat.
Yes, I wanted to try it. I just wanted to try it to see what it was like. I was in DC, and they sold it. I can't remember the name of the coffee house, and they sold it. Did I have remorse? Absolutely. Till I tried that coffee. It's probably one of the smoothest, richest coffee I've ever had. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee black. I don't drink coffee. I need.
Thank you for putting that up there, Chris. Thank you for putting that up there, Chris.
I ain't mad at it, man.
So when I say,
but it was good though, right? It was
good.
worth the 125.
It was worth it. Now will I do it again? Probably not. It was one of those moments where
I had two questions, Brian. Was your late wife around at the time?
No,
And
absolutely
She couldn't
not.
have been.
No,
She couldn't have been.
absolutely
She
no.
couldn't have been.
Shauna was super kicky.
Kevin, I could have answered that one.
What I mean by around, was she still with us in
No,
physical?
Kevin,
Charles
okay.
Anthony
you don't have
already
to
know.
ask Brian that. I could have told you.
Okay,
Exactly.
because from what I never met your wife personally, but from what I've seen,
Mhm.
that wouldn't have happened.
Are you eating snacks?
Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
it, man.
I haven't
Look.
eaten since lunch, and this alcohol
I've
is
been
talking
trying
to
so
me in
hard
ways.
not to eat these right now, trying to be professional. My man over here eating party time mix.
Kevin, apparently we don't have to. So enjoy your sour cream and onion.
But
He's
yeah,
eating
like
party time
it
mix.
was.
You know I'm a fat boy.
it was
'cause I
a
recognize
very-
the bag.
It was a very good coffee. It was a great blend. Again, would I do it again? Probably not. It was one of those moments where I had an opportunity to do it, and I just did it. It was one of those do it now or forever regret it. Yes, Anthony. You have a question?
Why
I just
is
wanna
it a
know, what are
probably
you
not?
doing?
It should be hell no, I'm not doing it again. Why are you spending? You know what? I'm gonna call you later. Don't worry.
I need to be on the call. I need to be on the call
I
because
got you, Charles.
No,
There's
this,
no
this is
way
a whole
that I'm
backstage conversation because
My
I,
brother-
I
You know
need
what?
to be a
Yeah,
part of this.
Brian, don't hang up.
My
I
brother-
was-
Don't hang up.
I
No.
don't even drink
We
coffee.
go back
I'm
to
kinda
means of
Googling it.
it. I don't think y'all really got what he was saying of why this coffee is $125.
No, I got it. I got
Because
it.
a freaking animal that
Yes.
only eats the coffee beans.
Yeah.
Eats the
Exactly.
coffee beans and poops the coffee
Poops
beans
it out.
out.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it.
Oh,
What do you do?
Oh, thank
You know
you. Hold on, wait,
What do you
hold on, wait.
do?
Time out.
I need to know
Time-
what
time
you
out,
do
time
when you
out.
have $125 in spendable money to waste on coffee.
No, wait, hold
I
up.
need to come work with you, bro.
My
No,
gas and
no,
electric
no.
bill is up due right now, brother. Like
I'm with Brian, man. Blow this money, bro. I ain't mad at you, dog.
You saying Brian, man.
Brian,
I hear that right
Hold on,
now.
stop.
Blow
Brian
this
with a rock.
money, man.
Brian with a rock.
Brian's
Are you
unite.
married? Brian with a rock. Are you married?
No,
Nah, I ain't married.
So that's why he said that. See, single men just said they're gonna blow $125 on coffee. Because if I looked at my rib right now, and say, "Bang, I'm about to go buy a coffee for $125."
You ain't gonna be here.
The store, the
Wait a minute.
PNC card that got canceled, the American Express that got canceled.
Pause.
My name is taken off of every account. I'm put on the
All
line.
of it.
Pause.
Done.
Pause. You said he a sneaker person. He'll drop that easy.
Oh yeah.
Here's the
Hey,
thing.
Brian, look, you
Listen,
ain't got to talk,
listen.
B. You ain't got
Listen,
to talk.
Hold on, wait.
listen,
Y'all
listen.
showing
All right.
snacks. I got shoe boxes all
Look,
over
my
the
God.
place.
Here we go. This sneakers. I can see it.
Now,
It's
yeah.
tangible.
Mhm.
$125 for coffee that I'm going to urine out in about an hour and a half is ridiculous.
Pause.
And
Wait a
my
minute.
brother,
It's violence
We were
at its
raised-
best.
listen, we were raised in the same household, he knows damn well 120. Yo, dad
I'm gonna tell your
and
mom.
grandpa is gonna come in
tell
the
your mama.
dream and slap the cowboy snot out you for
Nah.
spending $125 on coffee.
Wait,
Don't
I
listen to
got
mama.
a question then. A cigar, if it costs that much, would you smoke it?
No.
Ah, shit.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
$80 is the most I
Hold
spent
on.
on a cigar.
Okay.
I'm the
Yeah,
only El
difference
Cheapo
between
loco
coffee
here.
and a cigar, if you keep it fresh, even if you, because I know there are certain cigars you are not supposed to reburn, and I know there are cigars you can reburn.
Yes.
If you keep it in the humidor the way you're supposed to, he can go back and re-smoke that $125 cigar. That $125 coffee, he ain't never getting back once he leaves
It
the
ain't
box.
even the same cold. Like
It's not even colder. It's warmer coming out than it did what it was.
Lord have mercy.
Yo.
Brian with a Y.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am a tea drinker. Coffee gave me the bubble guts one too many times, and I got stuff to do. I got places to be. I do not like being in traffic with my gut bubbling. So I don't do that. So I do, but I'm with Charles. Like I do the yerba mate teas and the all, you know what I'm saying, all that. I got a nice yerba mate tea I drink in the morning for my pre-workout. Put the
Nice.
spicy honey in there, you know what I'm saying, get the blood flowing and all that, so I can hit the gym real good. So yeah, I'm definitely a tea drinker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Well, guys, this has been amazing. I am sure that there's definitely a part 2 coming in here somewhere.
Let us know.
So I would love to have you all back again when we do so. For all of those that have been watching, whether you're watching this live or on the rewatch, I truly appreciate the fact that you would take the time to watch Coffee and Tea and have a conversation with us and laugh about the life that we live as podcasters. Guys, this is the end of the program. Thank you. Six times over. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I consider you guys all friends. But you guys are really like family to me. So I truly, truly appreciate you as brothers for coming on and being a part of this show. Seeing as, again, I've only been doing this since March, and this is a newer interaction type of platform for me. So I appreciate it. I do want to give you guys an opportunity before we go ahead and plug your show so that people can watch, find out where to catch it, all of those types of things. So as we started before, we're going to start with Mr. Johnston. I was getting ready to say the wrong name, but Mr. Johnston, go ahead. Yeah, I had to roll it right. Go ahead and tell them where they can find you and your podcast.
All right, so you can find me on all social media platforms. On Facebook is Anthony Johnston. On Instagram is ant_Dwayne. And as far as the podcast is concerned, it is called the Husband's Lounge Podcast that can be found on Apple Music, Spotify. We do pre-record it. So we record and then it's actually put out on Thursday at 6 a.m. And then we speak on everything, all things husband. The ups, the downs, the celebrations, everything with regards to being a husband. Check us out. We had went on a hiatus for a moment, but we'll be back. You can also join the Facebook group, the Husband's Lounge Podcast Facebook group. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, follow me. Like, comment, subscribe. We will be introducing video soon. As soon as I can get the right camera. Right. Multiple cameras, because I want 3. So as soon as we get the right cameras, we will have video and audio as well as on YouTube and things of that nature. So that's coming soon, so we can get those live reactions and those live audio options as well.
Awesome. Professor Charles.
Yes, ma'am. Again, I am Professor Charles. You can find me on Instagram at Professor Charles _DU. You can find Dating University on all platforms, all your DSPs. Dating University, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of all things dating and relationships. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we have merch. If you go to any of our socials, you'll see the Linktree link. It gives you the right to our Spotify, gives you right to our YouTube channel, Facebook, everything. So please, like Anthony said, like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it gives us everything.
Awesome. Brian with a Y.
All right, follow me with it right there. Boom. At Brian B. Knowing, all social media platforms. The current podcast I'm doing is the Fake Mad podcast. So Fake Mad is one word, FAKEMAD podcast. You can find that on Facebook, and we'll make you fake mad.
That is like the best.
Brian be knowing, he really be knowing.
He does. He really don't think you do, but he really does. He really does. Mr. Gross.
Stop calling me that.
It's my show. I'll call you what I want.
Just make me feel old. Wow. But I understand. I don't know about Brian with a Y. I understand I'm the oldest out of all of y'all, but still.
Hey.
Please, making me feel older.
How old are you, Kevin?
I'm 46. I'll be 47 later this year.
You look good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody else went. Shut up.
I'm sorry. I was trying to follow everybody real quick, but yeah. Yo, you look good, my brother. You look good.
You can find me on Facebook as Kevin Crazy Gross. That's how I will pop up on Facebook. Two Fat Guys Podcast is on Facebook as Two Fat Guys Podcast. TikTok and YouTube, it is Two Fat Guys Podcast 99, and we just launched on Spotify the other day as Two Fat Guys Podcast. As the other gentleman has said, please like, follow, subscribe, comment. We are just two fat dudes that like to have fun and talk about pop culture. That is it. That is all. No politics. None of that crap that took place last night in Georgia. None of that. It's just two shenanigans. Two guys having as much
That was shenanigans, Joe.
That was two guys.
That was a calamity. That's what that was. I'm going to use a biblical word. That was calamity. But we ain't going to talk about that.
That's the wrong biblical word. That was 10 times.
Brian with an I.
On Facebook, you can check me out on Brian N. Johnston. That's Johnston with a T. The T makes it better.
Wow, but you find you spend $125 on coffee.
I know it.
You can find the Murray Life podcast on Facebook too. It's Murray Life. Life is spelled with a Y, so LYFE. You can see us on Facebook and on Instagram. In the Basement with B is also on Instagram as well. For those watching, if you will tune in on this coming Sunday at 7:45, I am doing an episode of the Murray Life. For those who know, for those who don't know, and that are listening, unfortunately, I experienced a tragic loss in the loss of my wife on just a year ago in July the 6th. Before she passed, we was doing a episode where we dissected each vow in the vows for marriage. So, being the kind of person that I am, the episode I am doing on this coming Sunday is "Till Death Do Us Part." So, come listen as I discuss. Come listen as discuss as how this past year has been for me as I navigate this new world without my wife, as I've now experienced till death do us part. So it's going to be on Facebook. It's coming on 7:45. Anthony and Charles, if y'all want to come past and be my my emotional support people, y'all are welcome to it. Bring the tissues. It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yeah.
But
Tissue. I need a whole
in the ride will be. In the ride will be, it's just random. You'll see me go live on my personal Facebook page. But that's where you can find me at. Also, Simple Plug, I do photography as well. So Josh the Strong Photography. You can check me out on there. I do bar mitzvahs, I do quinceañeras, I do repass, I do anything where you ask me to take pictures at. I am there.
If we
But
plug
yeah,
another
so-
stuff, like that's
I
a whole
mean, I
nother.
didn't know we get the plug of a stuff.
I already know. Like
I'm just plugging.
He opened
Listen,
the
you can-
door, so
he
I
opened
have
the
no
door.
problem with
Well, if that's
y'all.
the case, if you
with
need
your
a style,
plug.
if you need to be styled, or if you need a tailored suit, feel free to reach out to Anthony _Dwayne. If you need photography done, if Brian can't do it, I can.
There you go. Hey, my brother Bert, come on at me, man.
Yeah.
Nah,
If
that's
you are
what's up.
looking to get into this podcast life, if you have a vision, if you have a thought, if you have something to say, and you feel like the world needs to hear it, follow me, inbox me, Professor Charles _DU. I got you. Let's work.
I don't have a business to plug other than that guy's podcast. But that's not to say that God doesn't have something in store for me down the line dealing with this. So I'm already claiming it and grabbing a hold of it. But we will be live this Saturday on our platforms at 8:00. So please tune in. Excuse me, and join in the shenanigans.
Shenanigans is all for
Okay.
shenanigans.
Well, for all of those that don't know, I am also an entrepreneur. My very small but very profitable dessert business is called Crumbs by Chris.
I'm still
Nice.
waiting. I'm still waiting because I've been asking you to let me know when I can participate and contribute.
Listen,
Well, I need
Listen, get
taste
the
testers
banana
for
pudding.
July, so there you go. Our motto is making delicious memories. We do all types of small desserts, so cake pops, banana pudding cups, the whole 9 yards. So I do have a Facebook page, Crumbs by Chris. I typically produce products every Sunday. They do go fast. So as soon as I post flavors, it's in your best interest to let me know what you want because they go fast.
I love it.
I need to talk to you, Chris, because I have a wedding anniversary coming up. So I definitely want to talk to you.
No problem. All right, folks out there in social media land, thank you so very much for staying on with us through even the end shenanigans, as we have had a really great conversation. Again, probably not the last one. So look out for the next announcement for the next Coffee and Tea show, which will come out on Wednesday, midday. So look out for that. As well as the Lazarus Movement is every Saturday at 7 p.m. We're traveling through a journey called If. So it's introducing the what if possibilities that God has for each and every one of us. So we are midway through our book. So if you're interested in hearing and being a part of that, you can follow the Lazarus Movement on Facebook as well as on YouTube. If you do YouTube, you'll find all of my old videos. I've gone through the 52-day Maximize Life journey. We've done I Am the Number 8. We've done Dangerous Prayers. So there's a ton of content out there. If you need a boost, if you need some understanding, please go ahead and reach out and do that. So again, good night. See you guys next time.